Now to graph this equation, I'm not going to use the intercept form, because if the intercept form, what I would have to do is this. Suppose I want to get the y-intercept. All right, you'll see why I'm not going to use it. The y-intercept, what I do is I let x equal 0. Now if x is 0, I put a 0 in here. Now this one works okay. If I let x equal 0, I get this. Negative 5y equals 20. Divide. I'll get y equals 20 divided by negative 5 is negative 4. That's okay. So I know this crosses the line at negative 4, the y-axis at negative 4. But if I want to get the x-intercept, then what I have to do is I let y equal 0. Now, if you put 0 in for y here, that term goes out, and you're left with 7x equals 20, and x is equal to 20 over 7. What's that? I mean, 21 over 7 is 3, so this is almost 3. You just don't know exactly where it is. So this doesn't really work too well. So instead, what I'm thinking, if both of these numbers divide evenly into this, I'll use the intercept method. If they don't, then I'm going to solve for y and use the slope-intercept form. That is y equals mx plus b. So what we want to do is we want to solve our equation for y. So here's our equation. 7x minus 5y equals 20. Let's subtract that 7x, so we'll get, I'll do it up here, negative 5y equals negative 7x plus 20. And now divide by negative 5. So divide by negative 5, divide here, divide here. Now it's okay to get a fraction here. Okay to get a fraction here. That won't be a problem. So what I'm going to get, though, is this. I will get negative 7 divided by negative 5. Now, negative 7 divided by negative 5 is positive. 7 over 5, it doesn't reduce, x. And then 20 divided by negative 5 is negative 4. Okay, now in this form here, here's the slope. Here's the intercept, right? So it crosses at negative 4. We already knew that. So it crosses at negative 4. So I'm going to go to negative 4 over here on the graph and put a point. Now I need another point, and I'm going to use the slope here to get that other point. Now remember, the slope is this. The slope is equal to, the top number is the vertical change. The bottom number is the horizontal change. Now, for us, I always look at the bottom first. The bottom, all right, so here's what we have. We have 7 over 5. So I'm going to start at a point on the graph, this one up here. Right? I start at that point. Bottom number is the horizontal change, positive 5. So I'm going to go 5 to the right. The top number is the vertical change. It's positive, so I'll go up. So I'm going to start at this point. I'm going to go 5 to the right and 7 up. Okay? There's 4, 5, 6, 7 right there. So put a point there. So over 5, up 7 puts us here. All right, so I've got 2 points. Best you can. Pass a line through them. There we go. Now to graph this equation here, I'm just going to set up a table. Notice that exponent is a 2, so this is not linear. This is called quadratic, and I'm not going to get a line. If both of these exponents are 1s, I get a line, but as soon as I start changing those exponents, I'm going to get curves. So let's set up a table, xy. Now, what do you get when x is equal to 0? Well, y is equal to 0 squared, which is 0. So you get this point here, 0, 0. Let's plot it. 0, 0. No movement at all. So you're right there on the origin. Now, choose another point, like maybe 1. So y is equal to 1 squared, right? What I'm doing is I'm letting x equal 1, put 1 in here. 1 squared is 1. So that gives me this point, 1, 1. All right, so plot that point. So I'll start at the origin. I'm going to go to the right one, up 1. All right, and I got to be careful. 1 and 1. Now you might do this also here. Well, let's just keep going. How about if x is 2? If x is 2, put a 2 in here. So you get y equals 2 squared, which is 4. Now you have this point, over 2 up 4. All right, so start the origin, over 2 up 4. So we're right here. Over 2 up 4, I'm right there. I'm going to do one more here. I'm going to go out 3. Then y would be 3 squared is 9. So that gives me this point, over 3 up 9. All right, so here's my origin. I'm going to go to the right 3 up 9. So let me get that. To the right 3 up 9 puts me here. Now let's get some negatives. All right, so what if we did negative 1? Well, then y is equal to negative 1 squared. Now, negative 1 for x, put that negative 1 in here. So I get negative 1 squared. All right, just be careful. I'll do this at the bottom here. I get negative 1 squared, which is negative 1 times negative 1, which is 1. I don't have this, negative 1 squared. That means that the square applies only to the 1, so I end up with negative 1 times 1, which is negative 1. This is the one that we want. So I get a 1 out of this. If x is negative 1, y is negative 1 squared, which is 1, so I'm here. Negative 1 and 1. All right, so come over to the origin. Go to the left one, up 1. To the left one, up 1 puts us here. Now maybe a couple more. What about at negative 2? Well, y is equal to negative 2 squared, which is positive 4. So now I'm here. To the left 2, up 4. All right, so let's do that. I'll start the origin, go to the left 2, up 4. Left 2 up 4 puts me, left 2 up 4 puts me right here. I'll do one more. Negative 3. So y is equal to negative 3 squared, which is 9. So you get negative 3 and 9. So 3 to the left, 9 up. So start the origin. 3 to the left, 9 up. That's going to put us over here. Did I get that right? Negative 3 to the left 3. Yeah. Now look, this is symmetric. Does it look symmetric to you? As best you can, pass a curve through here. Now the curve's going to look like this. It does not look like this. This is not a corner down here. No corner. It's a smooth curve. So as best you can, see what you can do about making that curve go through those points, giving you, well, best you can. All right? That's pretty good. I think that's what this thing looks like. Let's graph this function here. X and y. Now, if you let x equal 0, 0 squared, I'll just do it. 0 squared minus 9 is 0 minus 9 is negative 9. All right, so you get this point, 0, negative 9. I'll plot it. So where is it? Start the origin. I'm just going to go straight down 9 right here. Now, let's go with a 1 and a negative 1. All right, so what do you get here at 1? At 1, you're going to get, all right, so I'm putting a 1 right in here. So I will get 1 squared minus 9. That's 1 minus 9, negative 8. So I get this point. Over 1, to the right 1, down 8. And then what about this one, negative 1? I'll get negative 1 squared minus 9. Negative 1 squared is 1 minus 9. I get another negative 8. So I still get to the left 1, down 8. Let's plot those. So I'm going to start at the origin. I'm going to go the right 1, down 8. Then I'm going to go to the left 1 and down 8. All right, so to the right 1, down 8 puts me here. To the left 1, down 8 puts me here. Let's try 2's and negative 2. So I'll try a 2 and then a negative 2. Now, put this 2 right in for x, so we will get 2 squared minus 9, 4 minus 9. That gives us a negative 5, so that gives us this point. To the right 2, down 5. And put in negative 2, we'll get negative 2 squared minus 9. That's still 4 minus 9, which is negative 5. So now I'm 2 to the left, down 5. So let's plot those points. Here's 2 to the right, down 5. 2 to the right, down 5 puts us here. And 2 to the left, down 5 puts us here. Now let's go with a 3 and a negative 3. Now, putting this 3 in place of x, we will get 3 squared minus 9. Well, that's 9 minus 9, which is 0. So that gives us this point. To the right 3, right on the axis, 3, 0. Put in the negative 3. Negative 3 squared minus 9. Still 9 minus 9, 0. So now we're to the left 3, right at 0. So let's plot those. So starting at the origin, right here, I'm going to go to the right 3, right there, and right at the origin. So let's put a point there. To the right 3, right, not the origin, right on the axis. And then to the left 3, right on the axis again. Let's just do one more point. How about if we go over 4 and negative 4? So put the 4 in. We'll get 4 squared minus 9. 16 minus 9. That's a 7. Gives us this point. To the right 7. To the right 4. Up 7. And then put the negative 4 in. Negative 4 squared minus 9. Still 16 minus 9. 7. So it gives us to the left 4. Up 7. Let's plot those 2 points. So I'll go to the right 4, starting at the origin now. I'll go to the right 4 over here and up 7, and then to the left 4, up 7. So that will be here. I'll get a point here, and then a point over here. Now, as best we can, we're going to draw a smooth curve through those points. And remember, at the bottom, it's a smooth curve. Now, this bottom point here, there's a name for that. That's called the vertex. And it's smooth. It is not one of these. It doesn't come down to a point like this. There's no point right here, right? None of that stuff. So as best you can, draw a smooth curve through those. So I'll try it here. Okay, and I'll put my arrowheads on there. And that looks pretty good. Here's another quadratic. Now, in this case, let's just write our table here, x and y. Draw a line so I can compute. Now, put in 0 for x. If you put 0 in for x, that's a nice number because most things drop out. That's gone, and I just get 7. So y is 7, so I get this point here, 0, 7. I'm going to go ahead and plot that. 0 up 7. I'm right here. Let's try 1 and even a negative 1. So if I put in 1, let's do it here. I'll put in a 1, right? So over here, I'm going to take that 1, I'm going to put it right in here and right in here. So I will get negative 1 squared plus 4 times 1 plus 7. And when I compute that, I come out with a 10, right? Is that right? 7 and 4 is 11, minus 1 is a 10. So I get this point right here. To the right 1, up 10. Let's plot that. So to the right 1, I'm starting at the origin. I go up 1, I go to the right 1, and up 10. I'm way up there. Now let's try a negative 1. If I put in a negative 1, now be careful here. I'm going to put a negative 1 here. Now this is negative negative 1 squared. It's going to look like this. Negative 1 squared plus 4 times negative 1 plus 7. And this is equal to negative 1 squared is 1. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4, or minus 4, plus 7. So negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5, plus 7 gives us a 2. So we're at this point here. To the left 1, up 2. Now I'll plot that point. So starting at the origin, I'm going to go to the left 1, up 2. That puts me right here. Now I'm going to try a 2 and a negative 2. Here's a 2, negative 2. So put this 2 right in here and here. So we will get negative 2 squared plus 4 times 2 plus 7. Right, this will give us negative 4 plus 8 plus 7. Now negative 4 and 8 is 4. 4 and 7 is 11. So that gives us this point. To the right 2, up 11. Now that's off our graph, but we can estimate where it is. I'm going to start the origin, go to the right 2, and up 11. It's going to be about here. Now let's put in that negative 2. So I'm going to get negative, now, careful, negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2 plus 7. Now when you put in that negative 2 and compute, this comes out to be negative 5. So I get this point. To the left 2, down 5. All right, so let's plot that. I'll start the origin, go to the left 2, down 5, down here. Now I seem to get an idea of what's happening here on the left side of the graph. On the left side of the graph, it looks like it's going like this. Let's just get a couple more points on the right side and see what happens. So I put in a 2. Let's go with a 3. So I'll put a 3 in here. Now 3 is going to give me negative 3 squared plus 4 times 3 plus 7. This will give me negative 9 plus 12 plus 7. And that comes out to be a 10. All right, so now to the right 3, up 10. So let's plot that. Starting at the origin, I'm going to move to the right 3, up 10. Puts me here. Oh, can you see this thing turning around now with the symmetry? Let's go out one more and see what happens. So I'm going to go out to 4. I'll get negative 4 squared plus 4 times 4 plus 7. I'll get negative 16 plus 16 plus 7. Well, that'll give us 7. So I'm to the right 4, up 7. Let's plot that one. All right, so at the origin, I'll go to the right 4, up 7. Right here. Now these quadratics, these are called parabolas. This is a parabola, a curve that looks like this. Now you can't see that. Let's use this. Curves that look like this, the x squared curves, these are called parabolas. They're quadratics. And quadratics always give you a parabola. If it's a positive, like positive x squared, they're going to open up. If it's negative x squared, like we have, right, look at ours up here. Negative x squared, if it's negative x squared, like we have, this curve is going to open downward. And they're always symmetric. It's like a reflection around here. So can you see it happening here? This curve is going to go up, hit that maximum, and come back down. So I don't need to plot more points. I don't need to compute more points. I can see what I'm going to do here. It looks like this is the axis of symmetry right here. That looks like the high point. Now see, if I go to the left 2, I go to the right 2. Now what about down here? I go to the left 3, so I'm going to go to the right 3. That'll give me, right, there's that axis of symmetry. 1, 2, 3. I'll put a point there. And then down here, all right, here's that axis. If I go to the left 4, I'll have to go to the right 4. So to the right 4 is going to put me over here. Let's plot that point. Now you can verify that by putting in the numbers and just computing. All right, so I'm going to draw as best I can a smooth curve through these points. Well, I kind of missed it down here. But it looks something like that. Let's graph this one. Now notice this. These two coefficients, they both divide into 8. So I'm going to use the intercept form. I'm just going to find the intercepts. So here's how I'm going to do this. I'll have x and y, and I'm going to let x equal 0. So what do you get? When you let x equal 0, that term goes out. 4 divides evenly into -8, giving us -2. All right, so here's a point, 0, -2. Now, let y equal 0. If you let y equal 0, let y equal 0, 4 times 0 is 0, that term goes out, and you're left with 2x equals -8, divide by 2, which goes evenly into -8, -4 times. So you get -4. So now you have this point, -4 and 0. So let's plot those 2 points. Now, this first point right here, 0, -2. Okay, 0, -2 is right here. So let's plot that, 0, -2. And this point, -4, 0, is to the left 4 and up and down 0. So that's going to be, right, -4, 0, that point right there. And I know this is a straight line because look at the exponents, 1 and 1. The exponents are all 1, so it's a straight line. So now as best you can, pass a straight line through these 2 points. So I'll get my straight edge here and see what I can do. Okay, that's not going to work. Let me try this. Oh, I have to, there it is. Okay, there we go, and I've got that graph.